Have you ever asked a chatbot a question and it gives you this super confident, really detailed answer that is just completely made up? It's a bizarre thing, right? Well, that phenomenon is called an AI hallucination. And today we're going to get to the bottom of why it happens and, more importantly, how we can fix it. So, our investigation kicks off with a really simple test. Researchers asked a popular chatbot a straightforward question about one of its own creators, Adam, Tom, and Kalai. Now, this is a question with one and only one correct answer. And get this, the chatbot confidently spat out 3 completely different titles, and every single one of them was wrong. This right here, this is our crime scene. A clear-cut case of an AI model just making stuff up. So what on earth is going on here? Okay, to really understand the problem, we first need to define what we're even talking about. Because this isn't just a simple mistake we're seeing, it's a very, very specific kind of error. So here's the deal. A hallucination is a statement that sounds perfectly plausible, totally believable, but is factually wrong. And the AI delivers it with absolute confidence. It's not saying, I think this might be it. It's stating a falsehood as if it's a fact. And honestly, that confidence is what makes them so dangerous. All right, so to figure out why an AI would do this, we have to look at how we train and grade them. And the first clue is in a system that actually teaches them and even rewards them for guessing. Think back to taking a test in school. If there's no penalty for wrong answers, you are always better off guessing on a question you don't know than leaving it blank, right? A blank answer gets you 0 points, guaranteed. A guess gives you at least a chance. Well, AI models are graded in a very similar way. And this example just nails the point home. If you ask a model for a birthday it doesn't know, saying, I don't know, gets it a big, fat 0 for that question. But guessing? That gives it a tiny 1 in 365 shot of being right. Now spread that out over thousands of questions, and that guessing strategy can actually pump up its overall accuracy score. Now let's look at the actual data, because this is where it gets really telling. We have 2 models here. The older one, O4 Mini, actually has a slightly higher accuracy rate, 24% versus 22%. So on the surface, it looks a little better, right? But look closer. It almost never abstains. It almost always takes a guess. And this is the real kicker. This is the consequence of all that guessing. The older model's error rate is a staggering 75%. The newer model, the one that's more willing to just say, I don't know, it only makes errors 26% of the time. The guessing strategy just dramatically increases hallucinations. It's not even close. Okay, clue number 2. We know why models are incentivized to guess, but where do these wrong facts even come from? Well, it turns out it has everything to do with how they learn language in the first place. You know, language is kind of made of 2 different types of information. On one hand, you have consistent patterns, things like spelling and grammar. Those are pretty easy for an AI to learn. But on the other hand, you have these totally arbitrary facts, like a specific person's birthday, that don't follow any logical pattern at all. So here's the crucial thing you have to understand. AI learns by gobbling up a mind-boggling amount of text and just trying to predict the very next word in a sentence. This is an amazing way to master grammar and style, but it is a terrible way to memorize random rare facts. So when it hits a fact it hasn't really memorized, it just falls back on what it does best, pattern matching. It makes up a plausible-sounding next word. So we've got an incentive problem, and we've got a learning problem. But the good news? There's actually a pretty straightforward fix. We just need to change the rules of the game. The solution is really a 3-step plan, and it's super simple in concept. First, you penalize wrong answers more than you penalize admitting you don't know, kind of like the SATs used to do. Second, you actually give some credit for saying I don't know when that's the correct response. And third, and this is the most important part, you apply these changes to the main scoreboards that everyone uses to rank AI models. And this quote from OpenAI really just says it all. It's not enough to create a few little side tests for honesty. As long as the main leaderboards, the ones that everybody looks at, keep rewarding accuracy above all else, developers are going to keep building models that gamble instead of admitting when they're out of their depth. All right, to wrap this whole investigation up, let's use what we've learned and do a little rapid-fire myth-busting on 5 really common ideas about AI hallucinations. First up, myth number 1. The idea that we can solve this just by making models 100% accurate. The reality? That's a total fantasy. The real world is messy. It's full of questions that are ambiguous or just flat out unanswerable. So trying to achieve perfection isn't just hard, it's completely the wrong goal. Okay, next up, this idea that hallucinations are just an inevitable glitch we have to accept. The finding here is nope, not at all. We just walked through how it happens. This isn't some deep, mysterious flaw. It's a learned behavior, and that means it can be unlearned. We can absolutely teach these models to be humble. Myth number 3, we just need bigger, more powerful models and this will all go away. The surprising truth here is that it might actually be easier for a smaller, less complex model to know what it doesn't know. I mean, think about it. Knowing every fact in the world is incredibly complex, but just knowing your own limits, that's a much simpler task. Then there's this one, the idea it's some kind of ghost in the machine, right? A mysterious glitch that we can't explain. But the finding is that it's not a mystery. As we've seen, this is a predictable outcome of the math we use to train and grade these things. It's not magic, it's just statistics. And the final, and maybe the most important myth, that we can solve this just by adding a new hallucination test. The thing is, that would just be a little band-aid on a much deeper issue. To really fix this, we need a systemic change. The hundreds of traditional accuracy-first tests are what's driving this behavior. They are what need to change. Which brings us to our final question. Hallucinations aren't an unavoidable bug. They're a learned behavior. So, if we change how we teach and grade AI, if we start rewarding humility just as much as we reward knowledge, will we finally be able to build an AI that we can truly trust? Something to think about.